Alright, I gave the Marglass a quick sanding out, and you can see how it kind of dries, or when you sand it out, it has the little pits. You can see the metal through it. That's all the metal. There's metal there. So it's not very thick. And you can see the metal protruding through, but that's as much of the glass I'm going to put on. I'll put a little coat of the regular auto body filler on it and probably give it a finish sand out. It might need maybe a tiny little bit after. Sometimes you got to hit it 2 or 3 times, but you don't want the body filler much thicker than the paint. You know, it's gonna auto bondo is kind of like just to fill scratches and pits and nicks like that. If you want to fill anything more, use the smart glass stuff. But this is, after sanding that out, that's not very thick. Like I can see, you can see all the metal through here. See quite a bit of the metal through it, so it's looking good. We'll throw a coat of filler on that and let it dry 24 hours, and I'll sand the other side and start knocking that out and see what we got there. Well, I started cutting this out. I got that little coat of filler on that, and that's got to dry 24 hours, and then that'll be ready to sand out, and that may be a good finish sand. We'll see. But I decided to start tackling this, and this really isn't as bad as what I thought it would be. There's a little bit into there, and a little bit of the inner rocker panel right there is rotted out, so I'll put that heavy steel, I'll weld that into the back there, and it's a little rotted there, so I'll weld that up and fix this, and then I'll weld a new skin on here. And then this I got to still cut out a little bit more, and it looks like I'm going to have to fix a little bit of the inner brace fender support. So I'm going to cut this out up and across, but somebody's fiberglassed and bondoed that in the past, and grinding the bondo out was just making a huge dust mess. So I'm going to get some paint stripper and take that bondo off with some paint stripper, and yes, paint stripper will take bondo off. So I'll just get some stripper and strip that out so I don't have to deal with all the dust from grinding it out. And then I'll cut this up and out, and it feels like this brace is where the rust ends, is I can get my finger up in here, is right about here. So that'll be an easy repair to get into that brace. After I repair that brace, I'll weld a new piece of sheet metal. I figured as long as I'm here, I might as well go here too and just do it all at the same time, you know, another 6 inches. So I'll get this done, then I'll fix the top of the fender, and then pretty much all the body work's done. The inside of this rocker panel is actually pretty darn nice. I don't know if I bend the flex light up a little bit so it's not laying on the bottom in there, but yeah, the inside of the rocker panel is actually in really good shape. You can see the black paint, the end down there has shiny steel on it. So I'll paint the inside of the rocker panel before I weld it closed. You can see it was never, rocker panels were never rust proofed. I think that's why they rotted out. Here in Michigan, it's kind of a must back in that area to have cars rust proof. Nowadays, corrosion protection is pretty good on cars to where they don't need rust proofing as badly, but back in this area, yeah, you didn't have your car rust proof. They had holes in them within 3 years. So I got the first coat of filler bondo on that. I had the Marglass. I put that on, give that a sand out tomorrow if I get a chance. And the other side over here, I finished sanding that, but there was 2 little spots that I had to add a little. There was a couple little marks in the filler right in here, just very slight, but I thought, well, I'll just put a thin film on there. And again, you can see the metal through the filler in places, so that's not very thick. You can see the metal there too, so metal there, it shows through there, so it's not you know, it's at the most it's like maybe the thickness of 2 coats or 3 coats of paint. So it's coming along. So I'm going to start making the templates out of cardboard for the inner rocker on this side, and maybe tomorrow I'll get the inner rocker welded in. It's getting kind of late now to start tackling that, so I'll get the inner welded in if I can tomorrow, if I have time, and I'll stop at the paint supply place, or the auto body supply place, Monday or Tuesday, and I can cut this out and work on this with that filler in there. But before I go to finish it, I'm going to have to strip all that stuff out. So I'm just going to use paint stripper. It looks like somebody drilled holes in the body to get the stuff to bite in, so I may have to weld the holes shut. And but we'll get it done. It's on the home stretch. This spot here is completely solid. I hit that pretty good with the hammer, and it doesn't go in. So this just, I pecked a few holes in it, but I wasn't going to just repair a few holes, so I just cut the whole section out and just going to replace that whole section. But overall, the rocker panel's in better shape than what I thought. And the fender's a little worse than what I thought, but it's not a major catastrophe. I'll be able to repair that fairly easily. And I noticed that the trim right there has a dent in it. I don't know if I'm probably not going to pull the trim and do anything with it. I'll just leave it alone, I think. But we'll get to town on this next week. Hopefully by the end of this next week I'll have all this repaired, and then like I say, I got other things I got to take care of the next couple of weeks. I got some jobs and stuff to do, so then I'll take care of this, and then the body work is pretty much will be done. I'll start focusing on the paint and the seat, getting the seat reupholstered. So, but it's gonna look good when I'm done. It's coming out nice. Just in case if anyone's interested, this is the piece that I cut out. You can see the holes I pecked in it, and you can see the back side. But that's actually, yeah, it's surface rusted, but for the most part it's pretty solid sheet metal, other than, like I say, where the holes are. And you can see where it's starting to bubble in places. That's why I decided to just cut it all out and replace it all, and the rest of the sheet metal is pretty good. It looks like stone chips and whatnot is what exacerbated the rust on this part of the rocker panel. But as you go on further in the rocker panel, there's black paint on it. It's shiny metal in places, so we'll give that a nice coat of paint in there before I weld it up, so it's protected, so we don't have future rust. Maybe shoot some undercoating in there too after I shoot some paint on it. So that's today's video. Thank you for watching.